Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. It's your boy,
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Chazz, and special episode today. It is post-championship week, y'all, and we've got a few champs in the room, and we will get there, and you guys will find out what happened. But first, I want to introduce my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jay Coleman. Jay Coleman, what's up, dog?
What's going on, boys?
And then dressed all snazzy, kind of looking like a cross between a Sopranos characters, Joe Biden and The Rock, we've got
Like a surgeon.
the fantasy football surgeon, Mr. Zags.
What is up, boys? What is up?
know where-
Real quick question: Are you just gonna transfer over the championship song to Adam after this show? Or
Could be.
It's gotta be because the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast League champion is here, boys.
But of course, more importantly, we have
Pickles, all my pickles.
Yes, Pickles is
over
here,
here.
as usual, making her weekly appearance. Wow.
And you know it, guys. You
I'm
heard
hyped.
it. Dave spoiled it, but
Yes. Let's go, boys. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Into that, I will drink.
we got the no nickname, no nonsense, the Fantasy Football Bros champion.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Yes,
Adam Van
boys. What a week in fantasy it was. I am happy to be your new champion.
Congratulations all around, guys, right?
well done, sir.
We're very happy you took care of Saints Joe.
Dude, you don't think I'm happy about it? Guy's been chirping me for months.
You guys took home the championship in a pretty close battle, right? So let's just.
I think I beat him by like 30, dude.
I think you won by like 10. But let's. Why don't we check it out?
I don't know what matchup you were looking at.
Final score: Adam beat Saints Joe 165
Oh, shit.
to 154.
I guess I was looking at the wrong score. My bad. Oh, I suck. But yes, there it is. Stellar week from my boy CeeDee Lamb, who carried me through the season, putting up a fucking 40 burger in the championship.
Game for
I'll tell you
Brees.
what, man. I'll tell you what. Saints Joe, he might have been crying after that Thursday night game when Brees Hall went off.
Yeah, it's true. Well, he had a big game too from Devontae Adams finally.
Yeah, for the one time he went off.
Yeah, one time all season.
Let's be fair, Adam. The only reason you won is
Let
'cause
me
you're
tell you.
Harrison Butker. That's the
I
only
was
reason.
literally just gonna say that. Leave it to my kicker to boost me over the top, dude.
Yeah.
Puts
It
up
was-
24 points.
It was looking pretty
He's
grim
couldn't
before
fucking score.
that.
It was looking pretty grim. I know. I got a text from the group chat. I believe it was you, Jay. It was like, damn it, Adam, you had one job.
Yep.
I said, I know, I'm fucking down right now. And then, bang, Harrison Butker comes in with a big 24 whopper, which is really high for a kicker. You love to see it. And here we are. Here's your champ. I'm your champ. And I'm going to let you guys know all episode.
How do you feel about the performance of your first-round draft pick, Mr. Derrick Henry?
It was a little disappointing. But he's also been really disappointing all season, so kind of like wasn't really expecting much from him anyway.
Probably
So-
the same way that Joe feels about his first-round draft pick, Mr. Travis Kelce.
Very
Right,
true.
Travis Kelce and his Saints let him down. Chris Olave.
Well, no, actually, I want to throw a little shade on Joe, I guess. It wasn't his first-round draft pick. His first-round draft pick was Tyreek Hill that he traded for Travis Kelce.
Yes.
So
Yes, he did.
you know what I have to say about that is
But Tyreek didn't play last week, did he? I don't think he did.
Well, then maybe it wouldn't have mattered.
I don't know, because it wouldn't have mattered. Either way,
In general,
I still beat him.
So, Adam,
Bragging rights are officially mine.
It's true. Your official lineup for your championship team is Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, Jake Ferguson, Derrick Henry, Zeke Elliott, and your MVP of Harrison Butker and the Minnesota defense with 1 point.
Whoops.
So,
Wrong can. Yes, that was the winning lineup right there, man. Like I said, dude, it was looking grim for a while, and if it was not for Harrison Butker coming through for me, I'd be toast.
I guess we can just skip my matchup. It's okay. I don't matter.
I didn't mean to exit it out, actually.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going back to it right now. I am actually. So we're going to. Jay also finished. Jay is excited because he stomped the shit out of Fireman John to take third place. So let's share that with you. We got Jay with a rousing 158 to 89 victory over John, who Tyreek Hill did play at 13 points. Jay, big performances from your boy Kyron, and of
Love that
course,
dude.
Always.
big performance from. So
And that
Jay-
Houston defense.
that Houston defense, I just noticed that myself. I was just looking at that. So like you got big plays. You know, Michael Pittman took a step back a little bit, but he was murdered.
Yeah. I mean, he came back from the dead. So, I mean, 9 points from someone that was murdered.
I mean, you did get lucky because he did start a kicker that got 0 points, but it wouldn't have mattered. You crushed this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you didn't even
What-
put up
what?
100 points. That's crazy.
What
Didn't even put up
happened
90
that
points.
Gardner
Seems
Minshew
crazy.
was in the
Adam's just lucky I let him take first place from me in this league because I would have beat Saints Joe.
Once I took first place, I never looked back, bud.
Yeah, because you took it in week 17. What were you saying? What were you saying, Dave?
I just want to know what happened that Gardner Minshew was in his lineup.
He had.
Dude.
He had
Flacco and
he had Flacco on the bench. and
No,
then
we had Trevor Lawrence who didn't play.
yeah.
And he went with Gardner instead of fucking Joey Bag of Donuts, Joe Flacco, who put up 27 points. Not that would have mattered.
Yeah.
But-
Joe Elite Flacco.
Right.
But for Jay's sake, it didn't matter because Jay still would have stomped him. So, all around, hands for Jay there in the Fantasy Football League. Fantasy
Well
Football.
done.
Jay, was that your best? Was that your best week?
Probably one of the best, yeah. I mean, from like the beginning of the year when I was, crushing it, but
And then we also have to give a shout out to the Loser Bowl bracket won by my brother Dominic, beat Mark. So Dom took the Loser Bowl championship from him and won a few bucks. And
although it's funny because where we finished, me, Adam, and Saints Show is the same place we finished the year. 1, 2, 3.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So the final, is you had.
As it should be.
There we go. Here it is. The final, the total final of the league goes like this. In 12th place, we've got camping superstar Zach Sabato with a 3-11 record with 1,300 points scored. Rough year for him. Mr. Took first overall, right? Took JJ first overall. In 11th place, we have Joe Dirte. That would be who is that? Anybody know? You don't know who that is, do you, Dave?
I don't have to wear the sash. That's all I care about.
You don't have to wear the sash because you finished 11th at 3-11. But here's the difference, though, and this shows you like difference. You have the same record as Zach Sabato, but you scored 400 points more than him.
Yeah, I just had some rough matchups, and it just wasn't the greatest year, but it's okay.
And then we had in 10th place, always Ben Gay. That'd be Jay's brother, Eric. 9th, we've got the Irrelevance. That's Chad, 5-9. Chad was in the championship last year, I believe. At 8, you got Goose, Mark's Majestic team, at 7-7. My brother, the Hitman, finished 6-8 with 1748. Just as many points as Dave down there, and he's all the way up at 7. Shit just breaks a certain way. At 6, you got Ed, Soul Crushers, at 8-6. At 5, you got Digs in Your Grave, which would be me, at 8-6 with 1889 points, and still finishing 6th because that's how high scoring everybody was up here. Tyreek Advantage, John finishes 4th with 1882 points, less points than me, but he finished higher than me. Jay, the real host of FFB, 10-4 with 1828 points. Less points than me, but finished 2 places higher than me. Saints Joe, 10-4, 1850 points. Less points than me, and finished 2nd. And the only guy that outscored me would be our champ, The Kamara is my savior with 1917. So that just shows you how like close this league was.
It was really close all year. I will
Look
say
at that run by me. 5-game winning streak.
I just noticed that too. Yeah, Jay was on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Shout out to Saints Joe with 45
I was
moves.
just gonna say that 45.
Hey, I know I was late last week and everything, but I caught the tail end of Dave's rant about the roster limits. Dude, that's a thing. I'm in a league that has 40 as their roster limit, and I had one guy in the league max that out. But in this league, there's like 5 bench spots, so it's super limited rosters. And then we actually upped it because of COVID from 30 to 40, and just never went back. So the roster limits are, dude, it's so hard when you have a limit on there trying to figure out who you should pick up, especially if you're in the bottom of the league too. It's like, okay, now you're just trying to, change some shit around and get the mojo back. But
Yeah.
roster limits are tough, man.
It's a thing, man. It's that
Wild
that
leagues
league
do
that I
it.
was in is a 12-man league with 15 moves. It's like you
Yeah,
have
that's
3 more moves than there are
insane.
people in the league. It's
That's
annoying.
insane.
Well, this is what I noticed, guys.
I also have to have a bone to pick with you, Dave. I did go back and listen to the beginning of that podcast last week.
Uh-oh.
And you did shit on my team, and you did bet against me. And here we are.
I mean, if we know
I thought we were boys, man.
If we know anything about my gambling record, we know that I did you a favor because not picking you means you're going to win.
I don't know. I thought that was Jay's job to say, fuck that guy, and then they perform.
Yeah, they did. Devontae Adams had the best game of his
That's
season.
That's right. You did say, fuck that guy to Devontae, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, no fucking way. That's funny.
What I was going to say is that, and I wonder if there's anything to this. This goes to like my theory that you guys need to always be on the move, always making moves, because there was 5 players in this league that had more than 15 waiver moves, and those were your top 5 players. 25 moves, 45 moves, 23 moves, 28 moves, 35 moves. And everybody else was 15 or less. And the people that had the higher moves finished 1 through 5. And 15 and less finished 6 through 12.
You know what that means? That means we pay attention.
It is true. But Dave pays attention, just didn't make a lot of moves this year in this league.
Well, Dave also was trying to, figure out if Austin Eckler was going to do anything this year the whole season. Wouldn't trade him. Wouldn't even answer text messages about him. Was just rolling the dice with it.
Dude, Dave refused to make any trades.
Dude, God, I tried to trade Dave so many times.
You could offer Dave like 75 players for one, and it would just be crickets.
Y'all just wanted to. Y'all were just coming after Puka and all my good dudes with a bunch of nonsense.
That's what happens when you're in second last
place. I didn't even offer anything. I was just trying to see if he was available, and I got nothing.
At least, Dave didn't get angry at like people in mine and Chazz's other league when you tried to make trades, and
yes, that's true.
And they're in last place, and they're like, "Oh, you're just trying to rip me off." Yeah. I'm keeping all my guys. If I can't win, no one can win.
Yeah, and then they finished 12th in that league, right? And I finished something else. We'll talk about that. But I think there's something to that. I mean, you need to stay active. And I know, Dave, you weren't very active, but you usually are. But you hate this league that when it comes to there's such big benches and there's nobody on the waiver wire. So.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I tried to make a lot of moves in this league. I just tried to make them, waiver claims, and just however the cookie crumbled, they didn't go through for me, and a lot of the guys that I ended up drafting were just total busts, and I knew that I don't know, if you really look at my roster needed like a total revamp, and I was just like, I was trying to fix it, but right around like week 8 or 9, I was like, I don't have a chance in this league.
I mean, if you'd have just answered the text message, we could have worked something out. You could have had a whole revamped roster, and maybe you'd be champion. I'd be sitting here with Austin Eckler with my dick in my fucking hands instead of you.
You'd be sitting here putting up 190 points if you would have had Puka the last 2 weeks.
Well, there is something, and I think Dave knows where he made a big mistake, and it's not just Austin Eckler. I think as we're showing here, as your draft 5th overall, you went off the bat with Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Alexander Madison, and honestly, 3.5 of those guys sucked the whole year, and you buried yourself by going heavy running back A, and all happened to be heavy running backs you went for were kind of shitty, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
None of those guys were worthy. Maybe like half of Joe Mixon was worthy, but the other guys, not at all.
And if you look at everything after that, I was really comfortable. I was really comfortable with DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Evans as my wide receivers. I like Dallas Goddard.
I do have to say, Anthony Richardson was really good in the beginning of the year, and then he had to go get hurt on you because he would have been a guy that probably was in the top 5 quarterbacks every week. I think he was already trending that way.
Yeah, I really feel like if Anthony Richardson stayed healthy and, any of those 4 running backs ended up being anything decent like I thought they were going to be, I would have been fine, but it just did not work out for me this year, and obviously DeAndre Hopkins was a letdown, so.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And I do want to give a shout out over here to the right, picking after Dave. Jay sitting here taking Nick Chubb in the first round, loses him week 1. Dude finishes 3rd place because his last round pick of Kyron Williams. So that's very good drafting. Let's give Jay a little.
Yeah, that was a big draft.
Probably the biggest steal in the draft.
100%. Dude, I had no idea who Kyron Williams even was. I don't think he was ever drafted in any of my other leagues.
Kyron Williams right after McManus and Deion Jackson.
And going over here to look at my team, Saquon Barkley in the first round. I mean, fine. He was. There was no great running backs this year, really, right? Like there's a couple, and Josh Allen's the number 1 player in fantasy football. I'm comfortable with that. Keenan Allen was a steal in the 4th round. We could all admit that. David Njoku here at the 10th was a steal. I feel
Christian
Romeo
Kirk
Dobbs down here. Yeah, so I did well, but the problem is by the end of the fucking year, for me, Keenan Allen's hurt, Jonathan Taylor's hurt, Marquise Brown is hurt, Christian Kirk is hurt. I'm screwed.
Saquon is kind of playing shitty most of the season. So on top of that,
off and on, yeah, on a shitty team. So by that point, I'm hurt. My best draft pick was probably fucking Jordan Love in the 16th that I traded to Jay.
how about you drafting Deontay Hardy?
Yeah, I thought, hey, took a shot, right? Yeah, drafted Deontay Hottie. But yeah, and then we skipped over Adam's draft.
I'm down. I was right next on the bottom, right there.
Okay, so you started off with Derrick Henry and CeeDee Lamb. Looks shitty like that, but if you drafted them the other way, it would look brilliant, right?
Derrick Henry was just another one. He would have a good game, and then you'd have a shitty game, and then you'd have another shitty game, and then you'd have a good game, and it was just back and forth with him. But yeah, CeeDee Lamb was solid all year. Breece Hall, same thing. Missed the first couple games. Didn't really get going until about halfway through the season. I sat him a lot. Camaro was suspended for 3 games.
Yeah,
my biggest thing, Mike Williams was doing really well with Keenan Allen, and then he got hurt again. So I had to scramble. My wide receivers were definitely my weakest point of my team, minus CeeDee Lamb. But hey, we battled through it, man.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Pretty much, and lucky me, I drafted Zeke Elliott and just ended up keeping him. Saints Joe tried to get him off of me so many times.
Yeah. Well, he ended up doing great because when he ended up getting the trade for James Conner, that really helped his team. That's what he needed was a number 1 running back in James Conner.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. He did need a running back, and he got it in Conner. And when Conner got hurt again, and when he came back, he was good. And even before he left, he was doing pretty well. So yeah, he definitely needed that. But
well, you know what, Adam? Because since we're in the middle of it, we're there. So let's just.
We already know what it's going to be, man. We've been talking about it, and my victory lap is being the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast League champion this year, and I'm happy to wear it for 2024. And I'm looking forward to the next season.
Do you have just off the? Well, we'll talk about that later, actually, because we just basically spent the first 20 minutes talking about your victory lap here. So that's your victory lap. But we're gonna move on to Dave because I know what Dave's victory lap is going to be, and let me just pull it up and share it with everybody. Where is it? There he is. Okay, so let's share it.
Dave, you look like the discount Kirk Cousins right now.
The outfit will make sense in a second when you see my team.
Or like a beardless Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh God,
there you
that's
go.
scary. There it is,
buddy. There you go, buddy.
There we go. So
look
got.
look at that picture. Look at that team picture. The outfit makes sense.
There it is. I love it.
So Dave, and this is big props to Dave in this league because Dave scored 160-75, guys. And I know it sounds like, oh, Adam had 165, but this is a one flex half PPR league.
Yeah.
So
we had a day. Yeah, we had a day.
You have a 0 from your kicker spot.
I see that bum.
What happened? I didn't even realize that. He just missed it.
He made 2 extra points and then missed 2 extra points, and in that league it's -1, so he got a goose egg.
I didn't even realize.
That's great.
Dave,
I hate that.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb, Kyron Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, Puka, Dave showing up all over with not with all free, 2 free agents, the two Rams free agent pickups. So very good.
I got very lucky in that league, being able to grab Puka and Kyron. Obviously league winners, so yeah.
That's
very,
crazy.
very
The fact that you got both of them.
lucky in that league.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you got both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Dave taking first in that. Dave was pretty much first the whole year. This was the only league that I didn't make the playoffs in. So, and I just had missed it. I was close. I just missed it. So, and that's because my team was riddled with injuries.
So yeah, excited about this one. First 3-time league champion in this league. But you know what? I just want to stay humble. I need to make sure that I know how to handle success. I don't want it to change who I am as a person, and I'm just gonna try to keep it rolling into next year. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. That just fired me up, dude. That just fired me up.
Jay, was your victory lap your third place that we already discussed?
Yeah.
That was your victory lap in
Yeah.
third place, and that's good. Third place is good, guys. You win more than you put in third place.
I mean, I would have preferred if my team would have shown up the week before, like they did for this past week, because I could have been playing Adam and at least got second place. So,
right, and it is about bragging rights, folks, but it's also about that money. So, that's how it goes. Well, my victory lap then. Of course, because I am also a champion in our long-standing, long-running league that Jay and Dave are also in. Your boy over here takes the crown with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, Sam Laporta, DeAndre Swift, Nick Folk, and the Bills D. Big game by the Bills D. And I pulled out a win of 24 points, 154 to 130. So I'll take a victory lap on that, everybody. Thank you, because
All I do is win,
Cheers, boys.
no matter what.
and the big cheers, boys. Good job,
Cheers.
everybody. Everybody in this room won money this year, and that's what it's about, guys. But the big thing for me in this league is I played Zach. And Zach and I were in the fantasy football finals, I believe, 6 years ago. And he stopped me the year that Todd Gurley got hurt, and he picked up Williams, Darrell Williams, and what's his name? Damian Williams. And Damian Williams had fucking 40 points. This guy smashes me that year. And then I haven't made the play or the championship since. So.
Did you hold a grudge for that long?
Yeah. He beat me. He stopped me 6 years ago. I remember him and I actually went out to the bar and was watching a game. It was I think it was the Chiefs and or something. I just remember, and Damian Williams was just going off, and we're watching this game, and I'm like, I hate you. And I hadn't made the championship in 6 years. I haven't even came close. I haven't and that's our longest standing league. That's about half the fucking time. I was a 3-time champ and then missed 6 years. Or it was a 2-time champ, 1-time loser, and then missed 6 years. So that league, to get back on top of that is awesome. And to just stomp out Zach, who fucked me over 6 years ago. So that was my big victory lap, and I'm very happy about it. And for all of us, And for all of us, again, one more time, boys.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on
Let's
my
go.
mind.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Okay. There you go, guys. Thanks for
real
playing
quick.
along, Joe.
You're welcome.
Let's do a real quick shout out to CeeDee Lamb because each one of our winning teams had CeeDee Lamb on it.
Let
so.
me stop you
Except
there,
for me.
because
Hold on.
I
I
don't
don't remember seeing Christian McCaffrey in any of those championships.
I was against him and
Was it-
Dave was against him.
Oh, I didn't. I wasn't.
I
wasn't paying. I wasn't paying attention to the losers.
I'm jumping off of what you're saying, Dave, because I was going to have us all do this, but I'm taking the liberty and just naming him. The fantasy MVP this year is CeeDee Lamb. And the reason I say that is because I'm in 4 leagues that I pay for and then a 5th league that I don't care about. But in all 5 leagues, the champion has CeeDee Lamb. He is on my team that I'm the champion. He is on Dave's team that he's the champion. He's on Adam's team that Adam's the champion. My family league that I run, my sister won. She has CeeDee Lamb. And in that 5th league that I don't really pay attention to, I looked, the winner has CeeDee Lamb. So all 5 of the leagues that I'm in, the winner has CeeDee Lamb. So I believe we can say without a shadow of doubt, CeeDee Lamb is this year's fantasy football MVP, right?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, 100%.
How
Yeah,
do
he
you
had
not-
a monster year.
How do you not at that point? So like that was the fantasy MVP, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Dave, because that was definitely where I was going too. Like I was going to tell us all to say who we think it is, but it's him. It is him. We can talk about our
Yeah,
or
100%.
pickups or whatever later, but CeeDee Lamb's the MVP. But before we get into any other rando conversation, let's.
Instead of swinging, Xavier goes down the middle. Slam dunk.
Get dunked on, bro.
All right, Adam, you said you had a good one.
I do have a dunk, and sticking with the fantasy football theme, I am dunking. Okay, I am dunking on fantasy managers and fantasy leagues that are still continuing their playoffs this week. I hate going into week 18 because not only do all of the starters, anybody that's a playoff team, they all sit their starters. Okay, they're all resting for the playoffs because the playoffs start next week after this week, right? So I can't stand it. I've been in leagues and I've quit them because of that. It is the absolute worst because nobody has prepared for it. Nobody has handcuffs unless a guy got hurt, whatever. But nobody has Tyler Huntley on their roster. Nobody even knows who the fuck is starting in Cleveland.
And nobody wants to start those guys.
And nobody wants to start these fucking garbage players who don't ever see the field unless it's week 18 and your team has made the playoffs. So fielding a roster is just so annoying, especially if you I've been in a points league, right, where they go until week 18 and whoever has the most points at the end of the season is the champion. But even then, your starters still sit, and you're gonna pick up fucking random 4th string receivers who never see the field. No, you're not. So my dunk goes to all you managers out there. Stop going into week 18 with your fucking stupid league rules. End it last week like everybody else does.
Very true. I remember the one time I was in this other league. The league is dissolved right now. It wasn't a big money league, but it was the year 2013, I believe, that Peyton Manning broke all the records, right? So I had Peyton Manning, and me and my sister shared a team, and we crushed. And then guess what? It was set to week 17, like you said, the end of the season. And guess what? I believe 2 losses the whole season. Comes to the week 17, Peyton Manning's out, blah, 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 get crushed, lose the championship. So I agree. Your fantasy championship needs to be the second last week of the season. No ifs, ands, or buts. If it's not, don't join that league because you're in a league that has run by morons.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So
Undoubtedly, gentlemen.
All right. Well, since you're piping in there, Rock, what do you got?
Is it my turn to dunk? Okay.
Go ahead.
hold
What are you
on.
dunking?
All right. If it's my turn to dunk, we need to get serious. We had a lot of fun here. Shout out Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love you, brother. But if it's time to dunk, we gotta go into serious mode because I am dunking this week on something that I think needs to be talked about way more, and that is Dan Campbell's fucking teeth. Did you guys? Okay. Did you guys?
Oh, he was so serious about that.
Did you guys see the zoomed-in footage of Dan Campbell on the sideline
Oh, God.
screaming at his players? Bro, it straight up looks like you snack on turds. You are a fucking multi-million-dollar, like, you are worth millions of dollars, bro. Not one Frost toothbrush. You can't get yourself some Crest white strips. Like, it was absolutely disgusting, and I'm dunking on your teeth, bro. If you see this, I don't know why no one's told you, but you need to fix this shit ASAP.
Is that also a dunk on the media for zooming in on that?
No. I'm glad they brought it to people's attention, because I'm not sure who lives in this man's life that hasn't told him that his teeth look like fucking turds, but he needs to fix that, like, ASAP.
I mean, I think he just had some chaw sitting on his teeth, but you were so offended when that happened.
Yeah,
like,
he was.
You were in a meltdown, like, immediately. You didn't even care.
Disgusting.
That was during, Dan Campbell making bad coaching decisions as usual and losing the football game. Dave was just focusing on the teeth. Like, that was it.
100%.
Disgusting. So gross.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
What a fucking game to throw it like that.
I'm gonna take $40
The
on
refs
my
didn't help him
fantasy
any.
winnings and send him a Frost toothbrush if anybody knows his address.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's public knowledge.
If he keeps making his decisions, he might be homeless soon because he'll be out of a job. But they're in the playoffs, so not this year, obviously. So, all right, Jay, what are you going to dunk on?
I'm going to dunk on the Eagles because they lost to fucking little fella, which is embarrassing.
I forgot about that.
I'm sorry, you're
That's
waiting
so
for
bad.
Maybe a little
Yeah,
fella.
I was, but you're not. You're supposed to be hosting a show and you're busy. But
Well, he's got to get the girl over after the show.
they've also lost to some pretty shitty teams this year. So like I don't know if teams have figured out them or if they're just overrated to begin with. But I'm not that like impressed with them, and I'm not real worried about them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be worried because they're still a good team, but they've been figured out. They've really been figured out. They like lean on that fucking tush push so much that they basically have thrown their entire offensive playbook out so they can just get 3 yards of play and do the tush push, and that's disgusting.
Well, there's also
They're neutered. They are neutered. AJ Brown has been doing shit. Devontae Smith has been doing shit. Dallas Goedert's been doing shit. DeAndre Swift's been doing shit. Also, they can get 3 fucking yards and push fucking Jalen Hurts' ass. That's literally all they care about. It is so annoying.
Well, there's also the report that came out that A.J. Brown is apparently ripping the team apart from the locker room because he's all pissed off and shit or whatever. But so I mean, it's not a great
You
time
should
to be
pissed off.
falling,
The motherfucker
falling
got me
apart.
6 points this week.
So, but yeah,
Yeah, you're right, and it's because their offense consists of gaining 3 yards so they can get in 4th and 1 and fucking touch Jalen Hurts' ass.
yeah, like
They better figure something
I mean,
out.
let's see. What they lost to the Cardinals. They lost to the Seahawks. They lost to the Cowboys, the 49ers,
Jets.
Jets.
Didn't they lose to the Jets? Yep.
Yep. So I mean,
And I honestly think, like, one thing that nobody's really talking about, and I might just be way out in left field and crazy here, but, like, everybody's talking about how great this defense is, and, like, oh, they just bolstered an already great defense. Like, this defense is trash. They give up, like, 40 points a game.
they
Constantly.
definitely should be way better than they are. But yeah, I was just gonna say that too. Like they've been blown out. Like 49ers put up 42. The Cowboys put up 33.
Yeah, they give up, like, 40 points a game.
Yeah,
Everybody
the Cardinals
says,
35.
Even the games that they've won, they've allowed a lot of points. They just happen to score more than who they were playing.
They're a fucking team predicated right now off of a QB sneak play. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I did want to bring up before I get to my dunk that Saints Joe did text me in his victory lap and dunk. So his victory lap was the Cardinals beating the Eagles, kind of just opposite of what Jay's saying. But the Cardinals beat the Eagles and Dallas this year, and Kyler Murray and James Conner are proving that they're studs. Wouldn't go that far, Saints Joe. But,
Yeah, let's take it easy. You could have left that part out.
And his dunk, this is interesting but funny. His dunk is the whole Chiefs organization, especially Travis, for selling his soul, getting his soul sucked from him from Taylor Swift.
That's so funny. I love that.
So that was his. So I'm gonna get to my get dunked on, and it's I'm gonna encompass Dave a little bit, Adam a little bit. Jay's free on this, but there's reasons for it. Okay, and here's my dunk on, and it's a certain narrative. It's a narrative that I heard all year, and it's a narrative that Dave fell for, but it's definitely a narrative that Adam said, but he kind of backed off from it. But we're going higher ups than us. We're going to some of these bigger fantasy football legends. We're going to go with we're getting on Michael Fabiano, one of the best fantasy analysts of all time, Sports Illustrated, all that stuff, NFL Network, and a guy that I always used to follow on Twitter, and he's on SiriusXM. Fantasy Sports Radio, Jeff Mans, some of the greatest fantasy football analysts in the world. Very entertaining, very knowledgeable. All I heard from these motherfuckers all last week is how you're crazy if you don't start Austin Eckler this week. Do you know who Austin Eckler is? He knows what week this is. He plays fantasy football. He loves his fantasy football managers, and he's going to come through for you in the clutch because Austin Eckler loves fantasy football. Jay, how did he do this week?
Shit.
Thank Pickles is here showing you how Austin
Hey, Dave, how's Austin Eckler been all year?
Austin Eckler's been on my bench since like week 7. Fuck Austin Eckler. I literally went into his Twitch chat and just dropped 3 turd emojis and then unfollowed his ass.
So this stuff is necessary. Not necessarily.
That's legendary, dude.
I love Grudge Dave.
This dunk is not necessarily on him. Like these big higher ups, I don't want to say millionaire fantasy football analysts, but you don't get more famous in the fantasy football world than Michael Fabiano. And I literally heard him say all week that Austin Eckler loves fantasy football and he knows what week it is, so you better start him. And I know Adam used to say that at the beginning of the year too, but he cut that out a long time
Yes,
ago.
I did say that, and I was basing it off of last year and what he did last year. And then I am a fantasy player, and I do understand like when a guy's not doing well, he's not doing well.
But like I said, this dunk is on Jeff Mans, Michael Fabiano. For these like big time influential fantasy football guys, like Michael Fabiano and Jeff Mans have their own show on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Michael Fabiano is on NFL Network. Michael Fabiano is in Sports Illustrated. He's like the go-to fantasy guy after Matthew Berry, right? It's Matthew Berry and Michael Fabiano.
Yeah, and Fabiano does the column Start 'em, Sit 'em for SI.
Yeah. So for these
I've gotten a lot of fantasy advice from that.
For these two guys to sit there and say that, well, Austin Eckler plays fantasy football. He knows it's a championship week, and he's going to get all these points. What did he? I think he had 4 points this week. So like
something like that.
I don't care. I bet you Marvin Mims from fucking Denver likes fantasy football. Great. I'm not going to start him.
Do you think Austin Eckler drafts himself?
Probably.
If he wants to win, he shouldn't.
Yeah, if he was smart, no.
Right. I'm saying, do you think he drafted himself? Was he like his first pick?
Well, maybe that's why he sucks so bad this year is because he didn't get to draft himself in whatever league he's in. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do shit. So whoever drafted me can't win.
I've said this before about fantasy football and gambling. Now that it's getting popular, you need to worry about that. You do need to worry about that. There is no reason, and I'm not saying he did it, but there's no reason Austin Eckler couldn't have saw the Vegas line that he's going to get 1,500 all-purpose yards, and he told his friend that to bet $1 million on it, and I'll go under. There's no reason that somebody can't say that and do that. Sure, it's going to be hard to prove and all that stuff. But the fact that like fantasy football and gambling is getting so embraced by sports, I wouldn't be surprised that something like this comes out in the next 10 years. I would not be surprised. Because you can't necessarily control how good you are, but you can certainly control how bad you are. If there's like an over-under of Stephon Diggs catching 5 balls last week's game, and Oh, I just dropped the fifth one. Shit, I only hit 4. Well, my cousin bet the under. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason.
I mean, players have been busted before for like throwing games or whatever for gambling reasons. So I mean, yeah, and that was before like fantasy football was popular or any other whatever was popular. So I mean, it definitely could happen now. So
I mean, we saw players get suspended for gambling on games, but where at that point it's you go down that rabbit hole. Where does it end? Like you're right, Chazz. Did someone say, "Hey, I'm not going to catch 6 balls today. Bet the under," or they can't prove that. As long as he didn't place the bet, right? That's what they were getting in trouble for. Is they were physically placing the bets inside the facilities that they were. That they're a part of. I mean, I hate to
anything's
think that,
possible. So I mean, who knows? But
I mean, gambling in sports has been around forever, right? We saw a big scandal in the NBA with the refs throwing games because they were gambling on outcomes.
And it was so obvious. It was absolutely.
It was very obvious. At least with like. Yeah, like I said, it's you go down that rabbit hole. It's like where does it end? Like, okay, so what? You ban everybody's families from gambling? Like, come on.
And speaking of gambling, and speaking of
Vegas would never allow that.
Speaking of gambling, speaking of bullshit, I'm going to add on an extra dunk to college football. I have never seen college football work so hard to get Nick Saban and Alabama in the national championship. Nick Saban and Alabama finished 5th. The top 4 teams make the playoffs. Alabama made the playoffs. What? But they finished 5th. Their excuse was, they did have one loss, and Florida State was undefeated. But their loss was to a good team. I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Georgia, but whatever. Their loss was a quality loss. So it's a quality loss. So we're giving them the edge in the playoffs over Florida State. So of course they get in and they're against Michigan, and it's a boring game at the beginning. It ended up getting exciting, and all of a sudden the Alabama's awful. Their defense is great. Alabama's whole offense is literally their quarterback dropping back, maybe making a throw, but most likely running up the middle to get 10 yards or whatever. That was their whole offense. So we get to the end of the game, and I'm like, as somebody who, and I'm going to be clear, I bet on Michigan to win the game. So I'm rooting for Michigan, right? And I'm a bit of a Michigan fan. And I hate Alabama. I think everybody fucking hates Alabama and Nick Saban. So I'm just watching this game. I'm like, I really feel like these refs are pulling this game. And this is what sold it for me. There was a big run by a big pass with a run from Michigan, and it gets over to the right side of the field near the 30-yard line, and the Michigan player blocks the Alabama player in the back. It was a penalty by all means. Michigan committed a penalty. 4 flags flew from these referees about 100 miles an hour to give Michigan the penalty, and it was a penalty. I'm not saying it wasn't. Those 4 flags look like fucking Josh Allen threw them. They flew into that fucking penalty so fast. The very next play, Michigan's quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, runs an out, or he runs a bootleg over to the same side of the field, the same exact spot where all those referee has 3 steps out of bounds. He's so far out of bounds, he's not even on the white. He's on the green out of bounds. Gets leveled by an Alabama player. 0 fucking flags in the same area of the field, back-to-back fucking plays. I was so livid saying that this team they are cheating to make Alabama and Nick Saban in the national championship. So what happens on the next play? Fucking J.J. McCarthy throws a rocket for a touchdown. Ties the game. Goes into overtime. Michigan doesn't even let Alabama let the refs cheat for Alabama. But by the second play, Michigan scored a touchdown. And college football playoffs are the best. There's no kickoffs. You start at the 40-yard line.
I love that format.
Yeah. So by the second play, Michigan
got 4 plays.
Mm-hmm. No, you
That's it.
You get first down. You get first down.
Did they move it back? It used to be the 25, I thought.
No, you can get a first down, but that's all I'm saying. It's like you can get a first down. It's not 4 plays. Oh. But anyway, Michigan gets a touchdown by the second play. So then you get Alabama, and I'm just waiting for these refs to cheat. So Alabama gets a first down. They're on the fucking 2-yard line. 4th and goal. Fucking Alabama calls a QB sneak up the middle, gets buried in Michigan.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah. It was.
I just never seen college football try so hard. They fucking cheat to get Alabama in the playoffs, and then they're cheating against the number one team in the nation to get Alabama in the playoffs. And it was just absurd. And I was really like, again, yes, I bet on Michigan, and I'm happy I won. But it was disgusting to see that to me. It really was. The whole process. It was absolutely disgusting. And that next year, you think you're getting 12-team playoffs for college, which I'm sure they'll find some way to cheat somehow. So Michigan, or so Alabama or Georgia could get it. This is the first fucking national championship in, like, I don't know, almost 20 years where there's not an SEC team. It's got to be. I mean, Alabama's been in like 15 out of the last 20. Georgia's been a bunch. Clemson's been in a bunch. So, like, I don't know what they're going to do. It's a fucking Big Ten team and what, a Pac West? A Pac team? So, like, I don't know what they're going to do. So, I'm sorry. That was a rant.
I mean, the whole thing of it is, just full honesty, is like, we don't need the playoff committee anymore. You know, like, they need to do away with the playoff committee. They can have some AI just calculate wins and losses, points scored, opponents, yardage for the seat, like whatever metrics you want, go ahead and plug that in, and AI will tell you the 12 teams that should be in there, and there's no bias, because what the playoff committee does is essentially they make it so that the games don't really matter. It's like, why even play the season? Why doesn't the playoff committee just tell us the 4 teams they want to see in the playoffs, and we'll just fucking skip all the bullshit? And then okay, let's just go ahead and have those playoffs.
You're right. That's basically what they do. Like, they were probably so sad. They're like, wait a minute, Georgia and Alabama aren't in the top 4? Both of them are not in the top 4? Like, they probably had a meltdown. They're like, Washington? Where is that? I don't even know where that is.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
Maybe it's all scripted, like the NFL is supposedly scripted.
They wouldn't have been trying that hard to cheat for Alabama if it was skipped. They were fucking trying hard. To say that the top 4 teams in the nation will make the playoffs, and this will make things better, but the number 4 team doesn't count, so we're taking the number 5 team. The number 4 team is Florida State. It's not like it was fucking Boise State. It just didn't make no sense to me.
It makes perfect sense to me, because Alabama merch sells much better than Florida State merch, and that's all they give a fuck about.
Exactly.
Fucking Roll Tide right up to the cash register. That's all they give a shit about.
Fucking ridiculous.
Right.
I was so peeved. You guys know, because I was ranting in the group chat. You guys were like, and I'm like ranting, and then this is all I'm getting from you guys. They're like, just let him get it out. Let him get it out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do most of the time.
I was mad about the
Just let
money.
him
I'm mad
It'll be
because
okay.
I'm a Michigan fan. But if Alabama would have won that game, even if it wasn't against Michigan, if that was against Washington and Alabama beat Washington, I would have not watched the championship game. I mean, I would have been so done with college football if that happened. So thankfully, Michigan pulled it out. Thankfully, Blake Corum had that great fucking run, and the national championship game's in a week. So everybody, get your bets in. Dave, what do you think about the national championship off the rip? Who's taking it?
In Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan for sure.
They're
I
taking
agree.
it.
Same.
I love Washington. I love it. I love them, but it's like, and my buddy described this the best way is Washington's not expected to be here, right? So there's a lot more pressure on them than most people think. You would think oh, it's just great that they made it. No, this is kind of their one chance. The people are really pulling for them, right? And it's you when you do a Final Four bracket or something like that, you take a dog so far, but you never take a dog to win it. You know, you know what I mean. And this is kind of this is where you take the dog to drop off.
Showing
Right.
Michigan beating one of the best defenses in the world, one of the best college coaches ever, and the referees.
Yeah.
Overcoming all of that, this has got to be their year. So whatever the spread is, it's probably 6. I would assume. I don't know. Take Michigan.
Yeah, I'm taking Michigan, and anything less than a touchdown, I'm taking Michigan.
Yeah, we're going to take Michigan. So this is coming out a little later, but what do you think, guys? I think by the time the Bills game starts on Sunday night, that we're already in the playoffs, because I don't think Steelers, and you know what I mean? I actually think the Steelers are losing to Baltimore's backups. So if that happens, the Bills are in the playoffs. But I still think the Bills are going to stomp on the fish and win the division.
The
That's
line
what-
right now for the national championship game is Michigan minus 4.5. By the way.
Ooh, even tastier.
Yeah.
Even tastier.
But to your point, I agree. I think the Bills are going to be division champs. Fuck Miami. They lost 2 of their best defensive players. Bradley Chubb got torn ACL last week.
They're down
I don't
59
think
to 19.
I mean, Tyreek Hill's walking around in a boot, so who knows
I know.
how good he's going to be
And
come Sunday.
I really think Tua's downplaying that injury too. I think it's bugging him more than he's saying.
Well, so no Bradley Chubb, no Xavier Howard, no Tyreek Hill injured, Tua injured. That makes you confident in the Buffalo Bills.
Their other linebacker, Phillips or whatever. I think he's
But
out
that
too.
makes you and Waddle's hurt, so that makes you confident that the Buffalo Bills are going to come in and be like, "All right, they're all hurt. Let's step on their throat."
Oh no,
No, we're gonna
downplay
win
for
this.
sure. But
Not a chance. It's going to be a closer game than we think.
Allen's supposedly hurt too, so
But you know
He's
what?
good to go. They said he's good to go. It was just a stinger. He's fine.
What made that? But the best thing for us is that it was a 1:00 Miami home game. They moved it to an 8:00 Miami home game.
that's
So they don't
huge
have-
for us. They can't
they don't have
they
the
can't
sun
fucking
there.
cheat with the sun and no fans again.
Yeah. So I still do think the Bills are going to win, but we're going to downplay this team. I'll tell you, this is what I'm going to say about this game. If the Bills win this game 38-35, nice, teams are scoring high, I'm confident moving in the playoffs. If we fucking win this game 20-17, we're not making it out of playoffs. I mean, that's it. They need to get the shit right now.
I don't have high hopes for us making a deep playoff run anyway, just by the way we've been playing, unless they change something drastically. But we've been like just barely squeaking out some wins, so I'm not
Facts.
real confident that we can make a deep run regardless.
I think we can if we can get right because the AFC sucks. I think,
Yeah,
You
but
know,
it's
if
the
we-
NFC teams.
yeah, but what I'm saying is like until we get to Baltimore, if we get to
Yeah.
Baltimore, we have to play what? Who's in the fucking running? Gardner Minshew and like we can beat these teams. If you get to the AFC Championship game, it might be it might be Baltimore.
We
which
can,
would be
but
tough. But
we also play down to those teams, so like
very true.
anything can happen.
But Cleveland, would be scared of beating Baltimore. The AFC Championship game, guys, could be Cleveland and Buffalo. And like what I think might happen if there's a situation like Cleveland, Buffalo, Baltimore, Buffalo, you're going to see a lot more of one Leonard Fournette, I believe, than you're expecting. Because they say to win the playoffs, you need to run the ball and play good defense. Well, we play good defense. So let's run the ball.
We have playoff Lenny.
Yeah, we play off Lenny. So I think that the simple fact that playoff Lenny at 28 years old, maybe 29, he's under 30, is sitting on the practice squad, sitting on the bench, while 97-year-old Latavius Murray is out there. I really think
Yeah.
they're just making sure that Leonard Fournette has everything he needs and is ready for this playoff run. I'm not saying Leonard Fournette is going to lead the playoffs in rushing. I just mean once the playoffs hits, and then you're playing all these AFC teams in cold weather, even though it's been 50 in Buffalo, but now it's getting cold, that it's going to be Leonard Fournette. It's going to be the Leonard Fournette driven offense. I really think
Maybe.
that's what they have understood. Because they don't use the guy at all.
No,
But they're using Latavius Murray. It doesn't make sense to me.
they're using anyone.
Nothing the Bills do ever
But
makes any
Leonard
sense.
Fournette.
You just gotta let it go.
Fucking Ty Johnson, Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I thought I saw Fred Jackson out there.
Yeah,
Snapper.
I mean they'll probably take some guy off the street and start him over Leonard Fournette at this point.
But I think they're hiding him, and all of a sudden in the playoffs, it's going to be a different offense than people are expecting. Because the offense has been so weird since Brady took over.
Well, no,
One week he's throwing all over, the next week he's running all over, and then the last couple of weeks have been weird. So I think they're just ready to unleash a different offense that we're not expecting in the playoffs.
well, what he did when he took over, we started like when it was what's his name as OC. I don't even care. Oh, Dorsey. Like there was no pre-snap movement. Like our offense just lined up and we just said, "All right, hike." And then when Brady took over, we actually started moving guys around, doing some crazy stuff, and then the last few weeks we're back to like the same. We just like walk up there and we're like, all right, hike, and we don't like do a lot of movement or anything. So I don't know, but yeah, maybe they are saving it for the playoffs.
I think so, and I think they will still save it because I think we're going to be guaranteed playoffs by the time the game starts. But I still want to go for the throat and get, there's a chance that the Bills or Miami could either finish second overall or miss the playoffs. Like, what a swing that this game means. To be the second overall or miss the playoffs.
Crazy.
Like, it's insane.
Right.
Well, it's like second, seventh, or you're missing. So
it's wild. It's freaking wild. So, and I'm glad to see that we're in this position, and I'm expecting a good week, but we won't bore Dave because he's not a Bills fan anymore, right?
Yeah, he said
He's
fuck
a
that
casual
team.
Bills fan.
Casual Bills fan, bro. Go Bills. I mean, I ain't gonna get butthurt if they don't make it. It was whatever.
All right. Well, we made it to the end of the episode.
How about the fact that Josh Allen was a snub for the Pro Bowl with the most touchdowns in the league?
Well, I mean,
Too many interceptions, man. Too many turnovers.
How dare him?
Well, first of all, who is the number one vote getter in the Pro Bowl?
I don't know.
Brock
I was
Purdy.
going to say
So
it
the
had to be
num-
Brock
so
Purdy.
Brock Purdy
I was going
overall-
to say Lamar Jackson, but
No, Brock Purdy overall is the number one vote getter. So obviously he's the overall number one quarterback getter. Who's and maybe something changed, but this was the other day I looked at it. The number one overall running back vote getter, Christian McCaffrey. The number one overall receiver vote getter,
Tyreek.
Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel. The number one
was it
overall,
really?
Yeah, the number one overall tight end vote getter,
Kittle.
George Kittle.
Wow.
So you're telling me there's not this San Francisco fucking bias out here, right?
But also, like,
Jake-
James Cook made the Pro Bowl.
Right,
And-
James Cook, but that's where running backs are. James
Yeah.
Cook is a Pro Bowl running back.
Yeah.
He's not. Looking at him in one big game, I love the guy. He's not a Pro Bowl fucking running back. It's just like there's no good running backs out there right now.
Wow.
I mean,
How is-
he had a good year, but yeah.
But how is James Cook a Pro Bowl running back and not Breece Hall in the AFC? Right? I mean, Breece Hall just as good. I mean, there's no, it just makes no sense. Derrick Henry. I think James Cook's third. I think James Cook has the third or fourth most yards rushing in the NFL. He's just over 1,000.
It's still crazy
I
though that
Don't the players vote on the players to make the Pro Bowl
the
now?
Fans, dude.
Fans do.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's just a popularity contest.
it's still
of
crazy
course.
that Allen didn't make it though with
So
over
yeah,
40
you're-
touchdowns.
I'm pretty sure your top vote getters for the NFC quarterbacks are Brock Purdy, Matt Stafford, for some reason, over Dak Prescott. Like, come on, like what is going on? And then the AFC, I think maybe Lamar's number one. I believe Tua is number two. Like, and Josh Allen's not even there. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Flacco has more fucking votes than
Probably.
Josh Allen. So, I mean, things change. It was just when I looked at it, I was just very surprised to see that there's such a 49er by. Jalen Hurts wasn't in the NFC. And we all know he's not having a good year, but he was everyone's baby boy last year. Right? Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
was everybody's baby boy last year. How they moved on real quick.
True.
Brock Purdy.
That's because we want action in the Pro Bowl, all right? We don't want 2-yard QB sneaks.
Right.
Well, I mean, we're
Yes,
not
I was
gonna,
just gonna say
you're not going to
that's-
get action from the Pro Bowl either. So I mean,
Wasn't it a flag football game last year?
yeah,
Yeah, I think they're doing that again this year.
yeah, they
So,
do.
it-
They do
I'm
like
not mistaken.
they do like dodgeball and flag football
Yeah.
and whatever other bullshit.
Get off my lawn. That's all I got to say. That's where I am. Get off my lawn. Well, boys, we made it to the end of the episode. I'm not saying the end of the season
sure
yet
did.
because I still plan on popping on, weekly until the end of the year here. So, but we do cut to bye weekly after the season.
Yep,
So we'll be on
We still got
discussing.
a few weeks here.
yep.
We'll be on discussing playoffs and things like that. We're not going to leave you guys quite yet. Dave is like, oh shit, I thought my contract was up.
I
Man,
thought we were
gotta
doing a fucking playoff league, boys. What's what's happening? I'm trying to gamble, man.
You're the degenerate of the gamblers, so you need to set it up.
Hey, fucking get ready. Draft is coming. Playoff league. Let's do it.
I don't think Adam and I did too
I'm
well
in.
in your spread league. So
I'm in third, bro. I got a
You're
chance this week.
it. I didn't
Yeah,
know
I'm only down 5. I just gotta hit every single one of them.
I'm
That's the tough part.
I
Your
couldn't.
worst-
I
your
couldn't
worst
make my
week
bets
gets
this
thrown
week.
out, bro. Worst
True.
week gets thrown out. Don't forget that.
True.
If
So
you
I
go
have a
hard
chance.
this week. Yeah, you got a chance.
Dave, I couldn't
Yeah,
make my
yeah.
bets this week for some
That's
reason.
why I haven't Venmo you yet. I just wanted to be prepared with the Venmo. You know what I mean?
So
Chaz,
well,
you,
maybe
couldn't,
we'll,
you couldn't make the bets.
no, it said something weird. I'll try it again later, but it just was
Yeah.
like it wouldn't let me.
I made mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Try-
let me.
Try it again. I loaded it up one time too, and it was like no
Yeah.
spreads available and a bunch of weird shit.
The spreads are up there now. I checked it today.
But either way, we will be here the next few weeks, and make sure you're joining us on the Fantasy Football Bros, and we'll talk about we still
Hell
do
yeah.
we still do the day. You know, there's still plenty of daily options in the playoffs and stuff like that. So I play fantasy football. I play daily fantasy football right to the Super Bowl. So
do.
make sure everybody is checking it out. Thanks for checking out the episode, Jay. Thank you for joining us.
Kermit the Frog here.
Adam, thank you for joining us.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.
killed Kenny, you bastard!
And Dave, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure as always, boys.
I don't know what goes in the sauce.
I just figured I'd get some of the full drops in there. All right, everybody, thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next week. Go Bills. Peace.
See you guys.
Later, guys.
Later, boys.